we're excited to get the season started on Wednesday. It's kind of fun to turn on the TV today and see college basketball started. And we've got a really good first opponent. UCSD obviously had a 14-point lead on us with 9 minutes to go last year at their place. We had to have a Jaden Ledee tip in at the buzzer to win. So we know how hard this game is going to be. They return really good guard play with Gray, Tate Jones, McGuy. So they've got experienced guards that have played a lot of minutes together. A lot like us, they've added a lot of pieces too. 2 transfer bigs. Chris Howell obviously transferred from St. Mary's, Rosslyn. So they've got new pieces that they're adding with experienced pieces. And so I'm sure both head coaches are going to be excited to see what kind of teams they have at the start of the season as we tip off tomorrow night or Wednesday night in Viejas.
And you're assembling that many new pieces. You got to get in training camp to kind of have an idea. Then to see it all together on the floor against another opponent, which you got a taste of last Wednesday. But what have you learned about them and the progress that you've made and everybody coming together so far?
Yeah, I said when we scrimmaged UCLA, I thought we were gritty because we turned it over 24 times and still found a way to keep ourselves in the game with a chance to win, which we obviously did at the end. And then to get them in front of a dress rehearsal with people in the stands, lights on in Viejas, first time for most of them on that floor. It was good to see how they reacted to that. With all that being said, we still have pieces. Obviously, Nick Boyd is just getting back, is gone a couple of 2-3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, where we're starting to still learn his game. Wayne McKinney, who looked good in the exhibition against San Marcos, just getting back. And so as much as we've practiced a long time, we're finally getting all the pieces together. And so we're still kind of a work in progress as to figuring out what role everybody's going to end up playing on this year's team.
You mentioned Wayne McKinney. When you took him, obviously he's been open about that he always had his eye on San Diego State. The timing wasn't right with the mix of guards you had, and the timing became right. Is that part of the calculation that a guy who's always wanted to be here is coming and gives you a little intangible?
Yeah, you want people to want to be in your program and then make an impact. And Wayne's watched us, obviously, in high school. I went and watched play Wayne in high school. I went and watched him AAU-wise, and the timing wasn't right. Not that he wasn't a good player, but when you have a Lamont Butler and you have guards you've already committed to, there's only so many pieces you can take. And now with losing Darion and Lamont, we had to bring experience in along with freshmen. And so we liked Wayne's experience. We liked the fact he's always had a place in his heart for San Diego State. Now we're excited to get him on the floor and see if all that work he's put into his game will pay off for the Aztecs and helping us win games.
Of the years you've been here as head coach, not with Steve, as head coach, is this the biggest rebuild job, I don't know if it's the correct term, transition job for this roster you've ever had?
Yeah, a lot of new pieces. Obviously, we could have had pieces back that played minutes for us last year and they're not here, whether it was Lamont Butler or Micah Parrish, Elijah Saunders. Those are all guys that started last year that had eligibility left with us. But I think in the new world we're dealing with, sometimes they leave and find different opportunities in other programs. And I don't harbor any ill will against any of them. They were great for us while they were here. Now we've added new pieces that wanted to be with us. And so now we have to see how these new pieces all fit together. And like I said, you take comfort as a coach when you have returning pieces and you kind of know what you're going to get out of those pieces. As the year starts, we're going to be on a learning mission together. I'm going to learn about them. They're going to learn about what it takes to win here. And hopefully we can learn lessons as we win. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you take an L or 2 L's as you learn how to win together. And so ideally I'd like to learn lessons and win, but whatever route it's going to be, we're going to get better. That's what we always do here. We find a way to get better and fit all these pieces together as the season goes on.
As you look at UCSD, what is it that makes them hard to play against? What is it about their offense or their system? Because on paper, you probably have much more length and size than they do. But what is it that sort of worries you and scares you about?
They can spread you out, which is college basketball now. They spread you out. They attack the basket on the bounce, whether it's off a ball screen or just attacking dribble drive, and then they kick out and move the ball and shoot open threes. And so if you run into a night where they're making a lot of threes, it could be a long night. You know, down the stretch at their place last year, they had some shots that didn't go in. And we just hung in there, and found a way to win at the end. But they're capable. They were one of the better teams in their league last year, and from what I've seen on tape, I think they've got a chance to be better than they were a year ago. So that's encouraging for UCSD and will be a great challenge for us on Wednesday night.
Typically, freshmen here don't play a whole lot. Is Magoon maybe an exception to that, given his unique skill set and size?
Yeah, we haven't played freshmen the last couple of years a whole lot. But in the past, obviously, we've started guys like Nate Mensah for 4 years, started Matt Mitchell for 4 years. So Jeremy Hemsley, we've had freshmen come in and start right away. So I've got a good group of freshmen, whether it's Magoon as a redshirt freshman or Taj DeGorville, Farrell Compton. These are really good freshmen. So whether they start or not, I think Magoon will obviously start in the opener. I have freshmen that maybe will have a chance to play their way into that lineup, depending on how we perform.
Is it tougher to bring along a young big man or tougher to bring along a young guard at this level?
I always say the hardest position to play is a college big because it's so much more physical than you're ever allowed to play in high school. So with that being said, Farrell Compton's a physical player. So he's already had impacts in both the scrimmage and our exhibition game. So Farrell's talented, and he likes to play a physical brand of basketball. So I think Farrell will be the exception to the rule, whereas a young big, I think he can contribute. Obviously, guard play, the point guard is the hardest position. The two guard, the other wing position, they're a little easier to fill because you don't have all that pressure of bringing the ball up and getting us into offense. You can flow a little better. So I like the combination. I like our talent. It's how soon I can get it to be a cohesive unit on the floor that will kind of dictate the season we have.
And what about Magoon and the physicality down in the paint and on the baseline?
Yeah, the fine line with Magoon is, I'd like to play him out on the perimeter more defensively because he's not real strong at this point. I mean, he's gotten bigger and stronger, but he's such a good shot blocker. So I might have to sacrifice him getting physically hit a little bit inside, but his ability to change shots at the rim and block shots. If I've got him out at the three-point arc, it's hard to block a lot of shots. So I may have him play some center for us this year in order to just have an impact on the game at the defensive end around the basket.
You put him on the perimeter on the offensive end. He's shown out that ability.
Yeah, he'll play both inside and out. Obviously, he's got a good skill set. He's just, like I said, 7 foot is no good unless he's playing 6'6" on the perimeter. He's got to be in a stance. He's got to play lower. The time to be 7 foot is when you get around the rim where you can uncoil all that length at the rim. So we're working with him to play lower with the ball, play lower defensively where he can play on the perimeter as a 7-footer.
Players are talking about how with the ball pressure this year, but the key factor being the rim protection that you maybe didn't have last year, maybe allows the defense to gamble a little bit or get beat and have that. Is that one of the reasons why maybe the defense has been surprisingly good this early in the season, considering how many new pieces you have or have to learn your system?
Yeah, I think we protect the rim pretty good, and that's what you have to do. People are spreading the floor and driving it to the basket. Every offense in the country now, all they talk about is pressuring the rim. Whether it's with a rolling post or a guard driving, they want to pressure the rim. So we have to protect the rim, whether that's body in front of a body or shot blockers taking those shots away. It's so much more offenses now, threes and layups. So many people are playing the metrics on that. I still like a good mid-range jump shot, so I don't think you'll ever see that with us. That if your best shot is a mid-range shot, then that's the shot I want you to take. But a lot more people are either layups or threes, and so we have to protect the rim to prevent the layups, and then we have to close out on three-point shooters.
Do you like playing the city games? Don't you have UCSD and USD on the schedules? Is that advantageous to play the other San Diego schools?
Yeah, I don't like playing them on the road, obviously. I just think they're metrically, usually their ratings are so low. If we lose in there, it's hard. Obviously, I'm playing them at home because I feel we have an advantage at home. We're in our home crowd. With that being said, it won't be an easy game to win. It's still a crosstown game, but scheduling gets harder and harder. And so if they've got dates that match ours and they're willing to come here on a bye game, then yeah, I'm interested in playing them. And I think UCSD will compete for a league title. So if we get a win, even it'll be a home game, I consider it'll probably be a good win. As the year goes on and they play across their season, I think they're going to be a good win if we can find a way to get one. So we got to find a way to get it.
Kind kind of relationship have you had with Eric over the years, and how much did he appreciate that you ended up playing that game in La Jolla last year? Because there's probably circumstances where you don't necessarily have to play, but you ended up playing.
Yeah, back then we were playing the crosstown USD game, and that was a 1-for-1. And Eric gave us a 2-for-1, 2 home games for 1 road game. So we thought that made more sense to us. So we took it. So now I'm not opposed to revisiting that in the future, playing another 2-for-1 down the road. You know, they've got a good basketball program. He's a really good coach. He's been there a long time and does a great job. And they're excited this year. I think this is the first year they qualify for the NCAA tournament. So they're stepping up their game as they approach that phase of their move to Division I, that they can be a legitimate NCAA tournament team. And I'm sure that's their goal as they head into the season.
Hey, Dutch, question about guys who try to crack the NBA. There's so many great athletes who show up in camps. Are you surprised or disappointed from such a struggle for Ladie, what's happened to Malachi and Nathan not being able to be a key component somewhere coming off the bench?
Yeah, that is a hard lead to make. It's hard to play in the NBA. And I think Jaden will play his way there. You know, I think he'll start G League, but I think he's an NBA player. So that hopefully will happen for him. Malachi, I'm sure, will start down in the G League, but he'll get called up to the NBA again. And so it's making the most of your opportunity when you get there. Nathan, I think, had an injury that probably slowed him down from having a chance to make the roster, and so he'll work his way back from that. And everyone's goal is to play in the NBA, and then at some level you say, does it make sense for me to continue to chase that dream, making less money in the G League, or am I better served to go overseas, try to make more money, and then get back to the NBA if they think I'm good enough? So there's a lot of different paths in this business, and you know, I think Jamal Franklin's a classic example. Yeah, he spent some time in the NBA, but he was making millions of dollars in China. So it's not the NBA, but it's making a living playing basketball. If that's what you want to do, then at some level you have to say, what's the realistic expectation of making the NBA, and how can I generate some income that'll make a difference in my life down the road?
What are your thoughts on Matt Bradley's announcement last night?
I think if that's what makes Matt happy, this is a great choice for him. You know, sometimes these guys that chase pro careers, you know, they play 6, 7, 8, 9 years, and then they come back and they're not retired. Then they have to get a job. And so they're 9 years out of the workforce trying to get their first job doing something else. So sometimes you play a little bit, you realize I want to get into the workforce, find something I want to do for the majority of my life, which is not playing basketball. And the majority of players are not going to live their whole life playing basketball. LeBron James is a miracle. But most of these guys have a 8, 9, 10-year career, and then they live the rest of their life working. So if you think you're ready to step in and get your career started outside of basketball, I think it's a great thing.
Were you surprised by that, or maybe less so, knowing some of his struggles that he had when he was here, and I know he was pretty open about it?
Yeah, Matt was always open to talk about a career outside of basketball, even while he's here playing basketball, that he loved the game, but he had other interests in his life, and I think it's good that he realized that. And sometimes the pressure is to keep playing basketball, but I think if he's at peace with his decision and he's ready to pursue that second career, whatever that might be, then I'm excited for him.
Touch with the banner going up on Wednesday night for last year's team. Obviously, you're turning the page this year, but how will you remember last year's unit with the Sweet 16 banner going up?
Just that it was 7 in UConn. I won't be able to forget UConn. 5-1 the year before and 2-1 last year. So when we've lost to the best. And so last year's team was very good, and to make a Sweet 16 is special. To win any NCAA tournament game is special. So I'll remember that team fondly, and a lot of those guys were carryovers from the national championship runner-up team, and what an incredible 2 years they had in the NCAA tournament, advancing and playing some really good basketball.
It's been 7 months since you last played a real competitive game. How excited are you to finally get back on the floor and again actually count for college basketball season starting?
I'm always excited, but I'm nervous too. I'm a coach, so you know I obsess about every detail and try to prepare the team as best we can. But at the end of the day, you know, I know it's going to be a journey. As much as I want to be great right away, and maybe we will be. Maybe we'll come out and have a magical first performance. I just think I'm wired for the journey. So whatever that journey is with this team, this will be my 8th year as the head coach, and obviously 25 years here. I know each of these 25 years I've been here, every one of those teams has had a different journey. So we'll see what this journey is with this team, and I'm excited to start it on Wednesday.
You know, you have a lot of fans that are coming in this game who aren't familiar with 2/3 of your roster. What would you tell them about who these guys are and what they bring maybe to this team or program that's different than previous years?
It's just that they're here because they all wanted to be here. You know, that a lot of them obviously settled for less NIL money to be here because they want to win, they want to develop, and that says a lot for their character, that these guys aren't chasing money, they're chasing their dreams and chasing the fact that they want to win at the highest level, and that alone should give them great comfort that this is a really good group of young men, not only on the basketball court, but socially, academically. This is a team that you can get behind and will love supporting.
What does a nervous coach need to find out about his team between now and the night we play Gonzaga?
I'm already thinking about Occidental. So, yeah, we have a really quick window to be good. I mean, our start of our November is probably as hard as anybody in the country's playing, the games we're playing. And so I wish we had Nick Boyd all summer so I had a better idea what he was capable of. I mean, we got a small glimpse in limited minutes against San Marcos, but I want to see him in really classic moments out there. And I want to see BJ, who put up 28 at UCLA, see how he progresses. These are a lot of new faces and new roles, and it's kind of fun to see how they all grow together.
Early off topic, but you know, Coach Lewis, you're saying he can't watch a football game anymore as a fan because he has the analytic brain comes on. Can you watch just a random basketball game on a Friday afternoon as a fan anymore, or does the tape breakdown coaching immediately kick in?
If I watch a game, I'm always watching X and O's and what other teams are running to try to see what might work for us, what they're having success with. But I'm still a fan. I mean, I'll watch Ohio State tonight and see how Micah Parrish does, you know. I'll turn on some of these games. I'll see how Lamont's doing at Kentucky. I'll be cheering for those guys. So that part of me would be a fan of former players of ours that are somewhere else. But from a coaching standpoint, I'm always trying to watch what other teams are having success with and what I can steal that will benefit our program.